Women only see men who carry all of their semen. And we need to get real, men especially, because a lot of men are just fake. They're not real. Like, guys are not really being themselves. They're trying to mislead others because they themselves have been misled um, from living out the life that they truly want um, by other men who are also not living the life that they truly want, but they're just doing it because they've found a way to like monetize a certain message, and they're passing it on to like older dudes passing on um bad messages to younger dudes, telling them, oh yeah, bro, you should mess with a bunch of different women, you should go ahead and grind and ignore women completely whilst whilst you're broke, so that you can get money in the future. When you have money, then you just mess with a bunch of women, and you have a bunch of dating phases and situationships that never actually develop into anything, and you basically stay playing at level 1 when it comes to dealing with women. Financially, you might be on level 1000. Great, good for you. But is that the only aspect of life in which you want to be considered high level? Is financial is just the financial aspect of things the only like pinnacle that you want to reach in this life, or do you want to reach the pinnacle of your fitness included, your emotional well-being included, your spirituality included, your relationships included, which goes for family and friends, like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, your fiance included in that, and your future kids and all of that stuff. You got to be well balanced as a man. They like to promote this message of alpha males versus beta males, but that doesn't really exist. Like, there is no alpha or beta male. Like, if you're a man, you already are an alpha. God said that there is the alpha and omega. God is the omega. So and men are the alphas. So it's like, if anything, because when you're a man, you calling another man a beta, like, you're basically trying to say he's the equivalent to a woman. Like, come on, that just doesn't make sense. He's a man just like you. He might be smaller than you. He might have less, like, he might be smaller than you height wise and physique wise, but it's like, it doesn't change the fact that we're both biologically still men, and we're set out here to pretty much accomplish like the same things, which is like to reproduce before we become extinct. But I think women, they value, balanced men. They value a man who is versatile in his characteristics and his whole personality and his morals, and, well, not morals, but like, just I would say his whole persona, right, is like versatile. Like, he can dress up one day, and then the next day he can kind of dress down. You know what I'm saying? He takes his fitness seriously, but he doesn't make it his whole life. Like, he takes his fitness seriously, but he also sets aside time to have fun and go, you know what I'm saying, to the movies with her, every once in a while, or go travel with her, or just do, or have nights in with her, like, just basically be a well-rounded, decent human being. And I feel like the average person has honestly forgotten how to do this, and a lot of it comes down to, I'm gonna be honest, and it sounds strange, but a lot of it just comes down to men, and men not even being their true selves, like trying to all reach the same goal, which is just the financial goal, and then the goal of entertaining a multitude of women with those finances, with said resources. And it's like, where does that get you? If you're on level 1 with all of these women because you're dating them for a while, go on a few dates up until the point where she drops her panties for you, you allow yourself inside, and then you come back out, and you never bother to progress things from that stage, and you just switch the face. You know what I'm saying? But the goals are, but the outcome is just the same every single time, just with a different face. What are you doing? and you're like 40 years old, 50, 60 years old. What are you doing? That's immature. That's some stuff that you think about doing when you're like a teenager, but by the time you get to your 20s, at least for me, I figured out that, okay, no, I don't want everything that I thought, that I dreamed about in my teenage years to come true. Why? Because I've progressed from that stage of thinking. I've progressed from those desires that I once had. And I'm glad I never got to fulfill a lot of the things that I wanted to do when I was a teenager, like go to like a multitude of like musical festivals and concerts, and like, I don't know, like mingle with a lot of different women and like get to know a lot of different women. Like I've only had a few relationships. So and not in every single relationship I even got to the point where we actually had any intercourse. So it's like a thing of where men are just obsessed about literally just one or two aspects of life. All right, money, girls, that's it. Really? That's all you have to offer to the world. That's all you have to that you want to experience. That's all you have to experience and all you want to offer to the world, which is, it's pretty, it's like, it's futile to me. I just think it's a lack of a desire to really uh reach your full potential as a man. And men are not admitting this. They don't want to come forward and say that this is the case, but I don't care. I'm gonna come forward and tell you that's the case. I see all of you for who you truly are, and I don't care who this offends. I don't care who this triggers if you hear this message, because you're supposed to hear this message if you come across it. That's just the nature of things. I don't make up the laws of the universe. Things are already set in place, and you can't change your fate. So if you come across this, it is what it is. But I'm telling you, that's exactly what I see, what is going on, and I'm gonna call it out without sugarcoating or holding back, you know. Because for me, and I mean, at the it to a degree, it kind of sounds like I'm a little bit like, maybe I got this like resentful energy, but I'm just passionate, and I think it's only because I don't really agree with that way of life. But I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm just saying, like, really look at it for what it is, and realize and understand that that way of living is immature, you know? Like, when you're a boy, all you want is money and a bunch of girls, when you're a boy. But when you grow up into being a man, that is not all that you should want anymore. Like, it should also be like, okay, I want to get physically fit. I want to improve my health and my diet. I want to, start a few businesses. I want to just start passion projects and work on my skill sets in a multitude, like in different facets of my life. It cannot just stay the same desires and not evolve into anything over time as you age. That's immaturity. There is no other way around to explain, what that represents in a person, other than them just not being able to grow up. So even though they look grown, they have beard, they have mustache, that doesn't make you grown. I'm not fooled by your facial features to determine whether you're a man or not. Like, I look at the way you act and carry yourself. So, don't come to me with this, I'm 6'4", bro, I'm tall and I got a beard, so yeah, it must make me a man. No, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen it firsthand that it doesn't. And so, but going back to the point, circling back, I think it's a men just losing themselves and not castrating themselves, and like completely feeding into their fleshly desires, and having no sense of spirituality mixed in with this physical world that we got as well. Because everything is done spiritually first before physically anyway. Whether you do good or bad in this life, it's always like a spiritual thing. Why? Because we feel things deep within us in order to, like, basically perform these things that we feel from a deep sense of like self, whether it's an accurate sense of self or an inaccurate sense of self based off of influences in our environment. We then act out these things that we feel, right? Good or bad. That's why some people donate, some people make millions of dollars and donate to charity. Some people are poor and rob other people and then end up going to jail. Like, it's just, that's the reason why we people's lives just turn out different, because of the things that they feel deep within them, and then the actions they do to portray those things. So it's like, I think a lot of guys internally are extremely weak. They don't really have the energy to get to know one woman, and like, and it's simply because they don't have like the vitality from within. They don't have they don't have the, like, that zest of, having semen inside of you, bro, and building it up, and not just like releasing it on a consistent basis, not just releasing it every other day or every day or every week or every month, allowing it to build up for at least a good period of months or years, in between like releases, so you can actually, you can actually like be someone who's, first of all, it'll help with just general fertility, because you're not exhausting your nervous system out of the nutrients that it needs to function to its optimum, level. So you can actually like be fertile, you know what I'm saying, and have like a thicker, potent serum of liquids that you can give to a woman who you want to invest with and potentially spend the rest of your life with, and to introduce life into the world and have healthy children, and not have children come out with disabilities and things like this. Because although you're going to say, oh, well, kids are kids, so if kids come out with disabilities or not, they should all be loved and treated the same, because they're all human. Yes, I agree with that. But at the same time, there are things we can do to stop, like, to prevent or to nullify the chance of, like, you know what I'm saying, like having kids coming out with disabilities, by living healthier lives ourselves, and that's why women, a lot of the times they'll be like, oh, I don't even like, a lot of the times they just find themselves, I guess, gravitating towards certain guys. And you have to understand that sometimes these certain guys, they just have something about them, and it's like, a woman can tell whether you've got energy from deep within. And it's like, if I put it like this, if you're retaining your seed for a while, few months, few years, give or take, you're gonna find yourself having really positive interactions with women wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? It's only with men that they're gonna kind of hate on you if you do that as another man. And you just got to understand that they see you as a threat because you possess something that they don't, and that they're not willing to go the extra mile in order to be able to do it. So they see you as a threat to their own survival, which is why they have to hate on you. It's natural. But it's like, I don't pay attention to men who are hating on me, but women love me more than ever, because of this practice, and men hate me more than ever because of this practice. And before, it was like I didn't really exist. It was like this neutral of like, women didn't really care. They were just okay. Men were just okay. And that was just it. But it was a very boring existence. And it was like, I had to level up, and it was like, okay, I gotta be more disciplined first. If I have sexual discipline, I can have discipline in other areas of my life as well. And I think men will find that when they practice that, you will actually start to see things change for the positive in your life, right? In a more positive, and things will just go in a more positive direction. You'll be more favored. You know what I'm saying? And I think, man, retention is a beautiful thing, because women can just tell that you've got this energy where, you are fertile. You can impregnate someone. You can impregnate. You got the ability to do it. You know what I'm saying? And they just want in on that, because it's not often that they feel that type of presence, because again, men are castrating themselves, and they have their vices, whether it be over devices or whether it be in real life situations. But you got to just think like, what's better for your long term, your future, and the future of others and the ones that you care about. And then factor all of that into making a decision on, where you're going to take your life and what kind of disciplines you're going to set now in order to see your life progress towards that objective that you're trying to reach, you know.